Well, hello, little one. How are you today? Today we'll meet a boy called Tashi. His whole world is changed when an ogre stomps into town. Let's see how Tashi manages to change the situation with the help of his cousin and some creative magic. In today's book, There Was Once a Boy Called Tashi by Anna Fienberg, Barbara Fienberg, illustrated by Kim Gamble. Let's have a read. There once was a boy called Tashi. Written by Anna Fienberg and Barbara Fienberg. Pictures by Kim Gamble. There once was a boy called Tashi, who had a way with witches and warlords and guessed the secrets of ghosts. His grandmother knew where dragons dwelled, and look ahead told him the future. He listened to wise as an owl read magic from the book of spells, and second uncle showed him how to follow the stars. Look at that. Tashi wasn't afraid of the giant on the mountain or the wicked baron by the river, but never ever had he dreamed of an ogre such as Gloomin. From high on the hill, Tashi was the first to see the ogre. The magic warning bell screamed out from the village, so loud it seemed the sky would break. But still Gloomin came, his great boots slamming into the earth like the doors on the giant's castle. Big feet. People hurried into their houses and closed their shutters, but Tashi ran down the hill and into the square. He felt the ground tremble beneath his feet. He saw the sky grow dark, and when the ogre, Gloomin, strode into the village, Tashi heard his mournful song. Black and cold and bitter as brine, that's my heart since I lost what's mine. Gloomin trampled gardens. He picked up dustbins and scrambled through them. He searched under bushes, dug through pot plants, flung about people's washing. And then he took off the roof of Hei Ping's house, just like that, and sat down in it. Tashi wanted to ask the ogre what it was he'd lost, but the pool of darkness that followed Gloomin's feet made him silent. Oh, he doesn't look very happy. Dark seeped out of Hei Ping's house, spilling onto the path across the square. Ghosts drifted in, hiding in the damp folds of people's curtains, mooning about in their rice bowls. And winter settled over the village. At Tashi's house, Grandma had to light the lamps at breakfast and keep a fire roaring in the hearth all day. The glooming winter, look ahead, the fortune teller called it. Writing in his charts, Look Ahead said he'd seen something dark moving towards them weeks before, but he thought it was just rain. Tashi watched Grandma's tomatoes wither with frost, the carrots shrivel in the earth. Will we have winter for all our lives? His cousin Lotus Blossom asked him. Gloomin stole chickens from second uncle and a pig from third aunt, but when he started to eye people for his cooking pot, Tashi knew he would have to do something about Gloomin. That dark morning, Tashi went to visit Wise as an Owl. The old man opened his book of spells and sighed. I'm sorry, Tashi, the book only tells me this. Ogres of these parts have 104 teeth. They eat people, they keep a pet called a familiar to share their fireside and their household chores. Tashi thanked Wise as an owl and went to see Luke ahead. When the fortune teller opened his charts of the stars, he sighed. "I'm sorry, Tashi, the charts only tell me this. Ogres of these parts are famous for their dark moods, called the melancholy, and when they are especially sad, ogres have been known to cause years of winter." Tashi thanked Luke ahead and walked slowly away. An idea was forming in his head. "Where are you going?" asked Lotus Blossom. "Into the forest," said Tashi. "I'm looking for a familiar to mend a melancholy." "A what for a what?" "Well, if you're going into the forest, you'll have to cross the bridge by that wicked Baron's house, and you know that's risky. I'll come too." So Tashi and Lotus Blossom set off through the fields. They searched the long grass as they went. They looked through hedges and down foxholes. "Do you belong to Gloomin?" Tashi asked a young rabbit diving into her burrow. The rabbit just blinked at him and disappeared. "Do you belong to Gloomin?" Tashi woke a bear cub snoozing in a cave. Growled the bear and went back to sleep. He does look a bit sleepy. Lotus Blossom climbed a tree, but all she found was a baby ghost hiding in its branches. Do you see the baby ghost? Could that be the baby ghost in there? They were just stepping off the bridge when they saw the wicked Baron. He was sneaking along the path, and in his arms he was holding a sack as carefully as if it was a pot of gold. And from the sack there came a high, thin voice. "Greedy and mean and sly as a snake, the Baron did catch me. Oh, what a mistake!" Tashi ran up to him and blocked his path. "Oh, Baron, I see you have a fine new cat in that sack. I'm looking for such a cat as that." The Baron roughly pushed the cat's head down into the sack. "You can't have this one, young Tashi. This is a very special cat." "You won't sell it for any price?" "Not for any you could pay," spat the Baron, and tried to push past. He does look a bit scary, doesn't he? Tashi stood his ground. "Perhaps we could strike a bargain. Yesterday, wise as an owl, let me read a page of his book of spells." "So?" snorted the Baron. Tashi looked about and picked up an old iron horseshoe lying in the grass. He dangled it on his finger. "I learnt how to turn such iron as this into gold." The Baron's eyes glistened. "Don't tell me you really turn rusty metal into gold." Tashi nodded. "Give me the cat and I'll tell you." The Baron thrust the sack into Tashi's arms, and Tashi said, "It's very simple. Just lay the horseshoe in this pool of water and say these words." And he whispered the spell into the Baron's ears. Tashi and Lotus Blossom left the Baron crouched over the horseshoe, whispering and waiting. "Will it turn into gold, Tashi?" Lotus Blossom worried as they went. "Maybe," Tashi said airily. "I didn't have time to read the whole page." Oh well. It's got the Baron doing something. So Tashi and Lotus Blossom crossed back over the bridge, past the ghost in the tree and the bear cub snoozing. When they neared the village, they began to run, and Tashi's heart felt light, as if it could float up and lift him from the ground. At the gate of Hei Ping's house, the cat jumped out of the bag and rubbed against Tashi's leg. Gloomin came bursting out of the house like a wild wind. "Cat, you ran off without warning. You left me here sick with mourning. You didn't say why. You dashed away, full of fish I caught that day." The cat purred and leaped into Gloomin's arms. She nuzzled close and said, "Now you can see how busy I've been. Here are 2 kittens fit for a queen." Gloomin bent down and stroked the little kittens. Then he smiled, so broadly that all 104 teeth showed. "Shall we count them? Maybe not. They do look like a lot of teeth there." "Let's go home now, Gloomin, my dear. You'll care for us better there than here." So Tashi and Lotus Blossom watched the great ogre pick up his family of cats and stride off happily into the forest, back the way he'd come. And as they watched, they saw the dark dry up like puddles after a summer storm. There they go, and look, cats on the head. There they are, all saying goodbye. The next day a grand feast was held in the square, and the villagers thanked Tashi, dancing while the flowers bloomed. "I knew you would think of something, Tashi, my love," Grandma said, and the sun spread across her knees like a warm rug. There's Grandma telling Tashi. There's Lotus Blossom and everyone. Oh, they're having a lovely, lovely feast. And there's the wicked Baron, still in the forest, waiting for his horseshoe to turn to gold. Well, I'm glad they all got out of there. Looks like a very scary place to be after dark. There once was a boy called Tashi, by Anna Fienberg and Barbara Fienberg, pictures by Kim Gamble. Well, there you go. Tashi is quite an amazing young boy, isn't he? With all that wonderful support of his family and the creative ways he got the cat back from the wicked Baron, he was able to help the whole village and the ogre too. If you like this story, then give it a like. Please subscribe to hear about the next amazing story I find for you. Bye.